We're going to play the music and everything first. Hang tight, okay?
All right.
Okay, Mike.
Okay?
Not yet. I'm telling the engineer back there.
Okay.
You should have the seal on TV now, right?
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
And this is City Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and we're going to go on the air right now. We got a phone caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass, did you ever check there up on 37th and Liberty?
37th Liberty. That was the one with the...
Yeah, with the, in front of the bus stop, it was all muddy there, and that overlapped the sidewalk.
I'm meeting with the EMTA shortly on that problem, okay?
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
and another thing I wanted to ask you, remember when they were, I talked about that a long time ago, about the recycling and that, where you could recycle like aluminum cans and that to keep them out of the landfill and that, and recycle cardboard and everything like that, and then what you couldn't recycle or anything?
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring on, I've been trying to contact Sarah. I want to bring her on the air here, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll have her explain some of the nuances of our recycling program.
Yeah, and that way, and what you guys can't recycle and that, you can probably burn it, because now they have that pollution thing where it'll be pure white smoke.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to burn anymore in the city, though. You got to be careful.
Oh, I don't know.
I know there's a, you know what I'm going to have to do? I asked once before. I know barrels, you can't burn like we used to.
Yeah.
That's illegal. Now, you can have fire pits, but there are special rules on the fire pits. You know, where they can be located and what you can burn in there, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you got to be real careful about doing any burning in the city. And what I'll do, and that's not hard, I'll talk to Guy Maddox.
Yeah, because you could put a special bin to keep the ashes where they are so they wouldn't blow all over, you know what I mean?
Right. I'll talk to Guy Maddox, but I'm pretty sure in the city, I know they banned, like when I was younger, first married, everybody had a burning barrel.
Yeah.
And we had like one day, for a while we had...
Yeah, we only could burn on Saturdays.
When I was real young, you could burn almost, I think it was quite a few more days, you know.
Yeah.
It was like the entire weekend or some people burned, but...
Mill Creek. But in the city, it was just on Saturday.
Well, that's...
I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, at one time I think people burned a lot more than that, though, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, with the new rules with environment...
Yeah.
And, of course, now you got hazards, too. You know, you don't want to burn your neighbor down, you know.
Right. But there's probably a place on the outskirts you could burn, like you said, the fire pit.
Yeah, well, you can have a fire pit in the city. I know you, from what I remember, you can't have it on your deck.
Yeah.
You have to have it so many feet from the house and a combustible surface.
Yeah,
and you have to have it approved, you know, with the proper...
with the technology, that they can keep the ashes right there, because eventually the ashes will turn into a powder.
Yeah, I don't think a fire pit's designed for what, you know, homeowners want to get rid of their, you know, it's like a short-term thing, you know.
Yeah, but see, the thing is you keep putting the landfill filling up.
That's true. What do you want to recycle that you're curious about?
Well, like you got to recycle your cardboards.
Yeah, we do that. The cardboard we do now. Yeah, we do cardboard in the city. You do that, don't you?
Well, no, I don't do it, but the city does. I don't do it.
Yeah, the city will take your cardboard if you bundle it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can recycle newspaper and everything.
Right, a lot of, my church is taking newspapers, the city takes newspapers, a lot of organizations take newspapers every once in a while.
Because you can make insulation out of it.
Out of newspapers?
I think you can.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with it. They, years ago, they used to use them for shingles and stuff, and
Yeah. But that's what I thought, because see, I know when they talked about that before, I mentioned about that a long time ago. I was watching something on TV that I think it was in New York, when they dry out the garbage,
right.
and then they generate electricity, and when it came out the vent, there was no ashes or nothing. It was just pure white smoke.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with our stuff once they get it to the, ours goes to like a tipping station, then they sort it,
Yeah.
and then it, whatever they sell it for. I know a lot of your plastic gets recycled, and so is your glass,
Plastic in your glass.
Tires is an interesting problem. I remember once I was reading about the various uses they do with tires. Sometimes they put them into road surfaces.
Yeah, they could grind it up almost into a powder, the tires.
Right, and they make running surfaces out of it, like, tracks and stuff like that, running tracks.
You'd probably mix it in with blacktop and that.
Yeah, I think they do. There's some places they actually do that.
Yeah.
Well, even us, we take old road surface, remill it to some degree,
Yeah.
and remix it and reuse it,
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I remember right, blacktop it's a nasty thing to put back into the earth.
Yeah. It is, because they put that creosote in the oil and that.
Right.
It is and everything.
I was always curious what happened to all the batteries. You ever think of that? There must be a big hole somewhere with batteries in there.
I don't know what they do with them. I don't know how you would cycle batteries, though.
I know, you wondered with all that chemical in there.
Yeah, I know.
But, I'm going to get, if I can get Sarah to come, she's very busy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to get her on one of the shows here.
Because I know now that, because I was watching that on TV, and somewhere, I think it was in New York City, and some of the garbage after they sort it all out, they grind it all up and that, and it goes through a conveyor, and they take all the metal, the glass.
Well, we have an outfit in Erie that I think they're still in business. They take various types of oils, like vegetable oils and stuff from restaurants.
Yeah, they can recycle oil and that.
Yeah, they actually make some kind of new oil out of that.
Yeah, because they clean it, is what they do.
Yeah, they're using it in Europe a lot more than we are here, I think.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering, to keep stuff out of the landfill and that. And I said that a long time ago, and then I think a couple weeks ago, some guy was talking about when you recycle aluminum cans and all that, and glass, and your plastic bottles, and that, because if you don't make it in new plastic bottles, they can make stuff out of it.
Right.
Like garbage barrels and everything. Plastic chairs and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you're right about that.
Because, I remember I worked at Erie Beer a while back. Like all that plastic that came around the beer cases, we recycle that and they make plastic pallets out of that.
That's good, as long as they get some use out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think you could save a lot of stuff going to the landfill. And not only that, you create jobs and everything else.
Well, we'll try to get Sarah on here. She's really adept at that.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Yep, okay, bye.
Yeah, we'll make a note here if we can get Sarah to come on. She's been on before, many years ago. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
I want to give you a kudos, Kaz, on your stance on the garbage situation.
Oh, you mean about going after him?
What's that?
You mean the one where I want to take him to court?
Yeah, when you want to take legal action, and I saw the interview on the news, and I was Very happy, because I think you're one of the most outstanding councilmen that we have so far, and you only been on the job for what, 2 months now?
Well, it's always bugged me that, if you go around town, you talk to the average person that pays their bill, they're really ticked off,
Right, and I think, unfortunately, I wish this list would have came out before the election, so some of these bums who got elected to public office maybe wouldn't have got voted, because these people would have figured out if they can't handle their own garbage bills, maybe they can't handle what's going on in the county.
Well, I don't know if they're going to go for my plan, but I'm going to keep pushing it because I think, it's a no-brainer. I mean, so, even if we go after the big ones first, the ones that are most obvious.
Well, the ones that have been outstanding for a couple of years now.
More than that. I mean, when you look at $12,000, that's a long time. There are people on there with $12,000 bills.
Correct, and I'm happy that you want to take that stance. And one more quick thing before I get off. I want to hope that the county council does not grant that $60 million for that hotel when we've got someone who's willing to privately do it, and it's going to be taxable, and that's going to be good for the city.
When is that meeting, do you know?
I think it's tomorrow.
I'm going to try to get there because, the more I read about it and the more I listen to a lot of people are confused. They're getting confused between the project that Nick Scott wants to do, and he asked the city for a $12 million grant, which we have available, okay?
Right.
But that's not, a grant is not a bond issue like they want to do at the other one.
Right, people are confused about that one. They
Right.
don't understand the difference.
And Scott, if he does build his hotel, we'll go on the tax rolls, which is what the mayor wants, council wants, and every citizen wants. We want more taxable property.
Right, and that's why I'm opposed, and I think a lot of other citizens, if you read the paper and you went online to their petition, the eriebayfront.org, there was a couple thousand signatures to say, we don't want this thing built by the county.
Well, no, all you're doing is, no matter how you word and preface it, the money is coming from, like I say, I haven't seen their recent financial statements, but normally the convention center, their operating budget is generally at a deficit. That means they get money from the county, they get money through the, the tax, and they've gotten money through the gambling funds to make up the shortfalls.
Correct.
But no matter how you couch that, that's in competition with private citizens,
Exactly. Well, the thing is, bottom line is, what you want, what I want, and what the city wants is more taxable property, and that's what it comes down to.
Right. It's strange that the hotel they want to build, Courtyard by Marriott, is the exact same one that Nick Scott wanted to build the first time.
Exactly.
But, it's nice, and this goes back, one thing about, if you've been around Erie a while, you remember the Hilton Hotel.
Yep.
And that was much the same deal, but, the one mayor wanted a first-class hotel in Erie, and, they had to make it happen somehow. Private business has a reality factor which says that, as much as we love the town of Erie, PA, on its own, it can't support it, So when you have to use taxpayer money for it, you got to do that cautiously, because we do it for arenas, things like that. But like you say, here's a gentleman who wants to build a hotel.
Yeah, you got someone who's willing to spend their own money and take their own risk. But no. I mean, they screwed him over the first time with the hotel. Let's not do it again.
Yeah, well, that was a strange thing, and there's a lot of personalities that I doubt this almost sounds like Pan Moon John. I don't think they could get them to sit down at the same table and do what's right for the city, and what's right for the county and the people.
I don't know what Dahlkemper was scheming up the other day with that meeting she had. But anyway, you have a good day, Kaz.
You too, and you know what? Keep vocal, because people have to take back government slowly. We allowed it to slip away, and I tell people all the time, I am an elected official. I am not above the law. I'm not somebody special. You put me in, you can take me out. And people have to get more active in their government and start being vocal, Don't you agree?
And that's why I thought you were the best choice.
Well, I thank you for that, but, I hope there's going to be a new type of people who run for public office, and that's people that, are not afraid to, do what they have to do, don't worry about the next election.
Right, and you're doing just that.
Well, I'll try, and if I get out of hand, you're welcome to tell me.
Don't worry, we'll be the first to tell you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the hotel is definitely item of conversation. It's Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good. You sound like you're in a tunnel. What's the matter?
I've been in a tunnel a long time. Hey, on that county guarantee for that hotel,
Yeah.
that is waterfront property. I thought all waterfront improvements have to come before city council to be approved.
I haven't been on long enough to know the answer to that, John. I think
I believe there is.
there may be like things about height and stuff like that.
Yeah, but any waterfront development has to go before city council to be approved. Now, last week they had that meeting to discuss it, and now I see they're negotiating a deal for a pilot program.
For who?
Does that sound like
Who's negotiating a pilot deal?
Adult Kemper has having Nick Scott and Casey Wells sit down? They were going to have a meeting again today. They're discussing a pilot program. And, well, that's what that new county councilman Brennan, he wants to have. And then they had this meeting.
Well, who's going to pay taxes? You mean...
They're paying taxes, yeah, like a pilot program.
You mean the hotel's going to pay taxes?
Well, no, they're discussing it.
Yeah. Why would Nick Scott be there?
Well, one of the Scott boys was sitting down at that meeting too. That has me baffled.
Well, maybe they want to listen. Here's what's interesting. From everything I understand, Scott will have to pay taxes on his property.
That is true.
And if these guys pay a partial tax, there you go again with treating one segment of society different than the other,
Taking government money, want to do a bond issue. You know what? Rendell's administration put this money aside for this money to start a hotel. The state's infrastructure is so terrible, I think they should suspend this and put it into the infrastructure of the state.
Why don't they give us, you know what, the Warner needs a vast renovation, whether you like the arts or not, but that money could go to the Warner, which is in terrible need of its renovations to bring it up to standards. You know what I'm talking about, John?
That was Rendell's money again, too, wasn't it, when he was the governor?
Right, but since he didn't release it, from what I understand, and I've learned this the hard way, there's like a lot of promises made, okay, John?
There's a lot of promises throughout the state.
Right, and there's not a lot of money backing up those promises.
Right, and that was all from the Rendell administration.
Right, but they all do that. So what happens is, when money becomes available, it goes to where, you get the most impact for sending it there, and you can read into that statement anything you want,
That's true. What I think Governor Corbett should do right now is suspend all the money that has been put aside for improvements throughout and take the money and take care of the state's infrastructure.
Well, not only that, we're fighting over,
Roads.
there's no argument about, we're fighting over funding for public schools, roads, like you say, infrastructure, other infrastructure. We're not getting a dime from the fracking people. I just don't get it,
I just heard a report from down there in Harrisburg that he's going to take the tobacco money, the settlement, that I forget how many billions of dollars or millions of dollars it is, and he's going to take that and put it in the teacher's pension, in their pension funds down there. So how long will that last there, too?
Well, I heard what was interesting was there are some changes that he wants to recommend that are almost wild.
Well, I think this governor should do what the governor of Arizona did.
What's that?
When he threw all the teachers off their pensions, their pension funds. I think his name is Wagner.
What do you mean throw them off?
But they stopped them. The teachers are not. In fact, I think they recalled him, and he got elected again. And the teachers union down that way do not like him. And this is Arizona.
Well, I think one of the problems we had was a few years ago, they decided not to fund the pension plan. The state did that.
Yes.
You know, they didn't stop the teachers' contribution, but they stopped their contribution.
The teachers don't put very much contribution into it.
Well, nobody, you know, when you look at any pension plan, and even private versus public at the time, and your private have gotten out of that, in most cases, the majority of it comes out of the management end. You know what I'm talking about, John?
401ks.
Well, no, I'm saying when we had, even when GE had these pension funds,
But yeah, you put some...
I mean, the worker never put as much in as just like, you know...
Well, there was a limitation. When I was in a 401k, I was only allowed to put X amount of percentage in.
Right. Well, what happened over the years was, you know, and it happened in the city way back. It doesn't happen anymore, but way back, some of the administration did not put money to properly fund the plan.
Cover it.
Right. Now, the workers kept putting their money in, you know, but the administration didn't live up to their obligations, much like the state a few years ago decided not to fund the what they call the state PSERS plan.
Right.
You know, the PSER plan and all that. So, I mean, you can't blame it on the workers. They kept putting their money in. If we have to go back to the workers and get more money, that has to be explained. And I think, I've said it all along, I mean, dealing with a public pension plan here in the city, I think the workers know out there that it's challenging.
Well, yeah.
And I think if you sit...
Depends on where you're getting the best return for your buck.
Well, here's the thing, and the public never understands this because it's, you're dealing with money that belongs to them, number one, the public. You know, and I remind employees of that here, that the money comes from taxpayers.
It's true.
You know, and so you can't, like, go into Wall Street where, you know, most pension plans invest into the market. That's how you get the return. You're not going to get that kind of return out of a bank, you know, in a CD account.
No.
So, you know, you have to go into the market like...
That's a gamble.
Right, but you go into it in a very conservative fashion. Most plans will go 60-40, which means you have about 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds.
Well, you have to diversify, or else you get murdered on one.
But like a little while ago, everybody wanted to like go into gold and, you know, empty out the plans and do this and that. Public funds can't do that because you're playing with other people's money. You're not playing with your own.
It's true, and I guess the city is going to be changing their I don't want to call it your bond holder, but we're changing, they're looking for a new person to hold your pension funds.
Actually, no, you're talking about our manager, like?
No, your pension fund, who's ever managing it.
Well, we've already changed. That's happened as of January.
So we have a
new advisor, is that what you mean?
advisor, and you think the advisor will be as good as the last one?
Well, here's what happened. Our last advisor, for whatever you want to say, good or bad about him.
I won't say their name, but...
Well, I'll say it was Merrill Lynch. It's public knowledge.
The Merrill Lynch?
Yeah, they did a very good job. If you look back to when the city was 35% funded, now that means we only had 35 cents for every dollar of obligation we had. Okay? So the fund was, you know, terribly underfunded. Right now, I saw some latest figures. There's 3 separate funds, so you can't look at them as, you know, all together because they have different ways they pay out.
True.
You know, police still got different benefits, but they're all up in the upper 70s with one of them, what we call the blue collar, white collar fund, is at 80+%. Now, that's up from 35, and you have to take into consideration that we went through two very bad cycles of market, you know.
Yes.
And an advisor, they don't tell you what to do. That's not their job. They advise you more like...
whether you should get in bonds or mutuals?
Yeah, and they help you into that, but they don't tell you where to make the investments. That's still the board's, you know, decision. But they try to guide you, set you up with good managers, and we work very closely here with our managers and our advisor. Now, Merrill Lynch it was a corporate decision in their home office to get out of the public pension fund business. We did not fire them, we did not get rid of them, we were very happy with them. But because they had to get out of the business, we did a search, and we came up with, we had a lot of, we had about 20-some businesses, 20-some outfits that actually came in and wanted our business. And we settled with Dahab, a very good company out of Massachusetts. Now, you know, we did a good search, and hey, you know what? If they don't do their job in a couple of years that we like, we'll get somebody else, you know.
There's more out there.
Yeah.
I think Gannon's going to probably wind up buying another building downtown there, huh?
Well, I think, which one now?
Summer Nichols building? That's where RCWE has its career links.
Yeah.
It's in Sassafras, I believe it is.
They want that one too?
Well, I believe they're going to get out of there because they're not getting enough money to pay the rent.
Who, Career Links, you mean?
Yeah, career links.
So now Gannon takes it over, that'd be another tax exempt probably.
But they're tax exempt down there anyways because it's a tax exempt. The owners are out of Meadville.
Geez, I remember when the Red Door was in there, remember?
Yeah, for career links there, and even the county's thinking of looking at for a cheaper spot.
Yeah, the county's in it, that's right.
That's about the only person in there. This is the county.
man.
You got what, 4 floors there?
Well, you know, yeah, well, 3 or 4, I think you're right, 4 floors. Because they built that one, and then the IBM building was right next to it.
Yeah.
That was the IBM headquarters.
But the well's going to run dry.
Yeah, I mean, when those were built during redevelopment, you had IBM in one, and the other building had, well, you had the Red Door and numerous businesses in there.
Yeah, pretty soon the whole downtown will change City Hall to Gannondale.
Well, you know what, it's you know, you almost have to agree it's on their campus, but
Yeah, true.
well, how big are they getting, you know?
I don't know. It's pretty disgusting for the taxpayers out there.
Well, yeah, it is, when you figure you know, what did we see the other day? We were gonna lose 60th, on the Jewish temple.
Jefferson Society.
Yeah, what was it we're going to lose there? 6,000 was it, or 60?
1,000.
60?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you make up that?
Well, you know,
It seems like it's only about $1 a person, let's say, you know.
spoke to the Badams, and I guess they're going to look into revisiting all the nonprofits.
We have to. I mean, Assistant Solicitor Larry Meredith a few years ago.
He was taking a research on it, and it went dead.
Yeah, well, he was.
All the administration changed.
Yeah, I mean, he did a nice job though.
He tried. I'll say that much for the.
Well, he only had the project for a little while, you know.
That's true.
But what he discovered was, you know, it was eye-opening that these are challenges we probably should make, and I don't know why we don't. You know, we're always afraid of going to court. We got to start doing what's right for the taxpayers. I mean,
if you're making money with your nonprofit and all that, it should be taxable.
well, I mean, if you're a nonprofit, you're a nonprofit. There's nothing I can do about state law.
That's right.
You know, we have to change that at Harrisburg. But there's a lot of them out there that maybe aren't qualified anymore to be what they are. You know, they're not nonprofit, you know.
I do hope those new county council people, I know Carol Lowell's a no vote, and maybe Horton, I think he might be a no vote, and this Brennan might be a no vote. Well, if it's a 3-3, it's dead.
Well, you know, I knew Councilman Brenneman and Horton during the campaign, and, you know, they're honest people, you know. I hope they make the right decision. Carol Lowell, I know personally, she's very conscientious, you know.
Yes, totally. But, you know, if the constituents do not want this, they should listen to the constituents and forget about how much they say they're going to bring in and how much it's going to cost. It won't cost us anything. They say, well, excuse me, a $25 or $35 million bond is going to cost my kids, my grandkids, and who knows down the line.
I mean, where does the Civic Center get their money from, you know?
From the bed tax, and they got the money from us. Have they ever repaid the city the $3 million they owe?
I don't believe they did.
That'll never happen.
And you know what, like I told people, normally, and I haven't seen their books lately, they normally operate at a loss, just much like many convention authorities across the country.
There's only one convention authority making money, and I don't know if they're making money anymore.
That's got to be Orlando or San Diego, probably, right?
Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, I forgot about them. I think Orlando and San Diego do pretty good, but you know what? They're getting a major convention almost, every week. And then they got like 4, when I was in San Diego one time, they had 4, the ability to put 4 on at one time.
4 convention rooms, yeah.
So they could be setting one up, tearing one down,
That's true.
And, it's, everybody wants to see what's best for the waterfront.
The convention center up here has done is taken away business from Waldemar and all these other places.
Well, yeah, if you haven't noticed, the ambassador is mounting their own little campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old days, a lot of things went to Paul Nelson.
That's true.
And he may have to make a decision whether he wants to be in the,
he wants to be in the business or just take care of
or make that another ride there,
That's right.
I mean, it's hard for him to put the kind of renovations in that building.
Well, the Order of the Eagles are coming in, and they're going to the Avalon.
They are.
Yes, and I'm glad they're giving another little place another business.
Downtown, that's amazing.
Yep. I'll talk a little later if nobody else calls.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody asked me the other day about you, a classmate.
If I was what?
A nice young lady asked me your last name because she said you went to East.
Yeah, my last name's Alechi.
Yeah, she knows your sister, though.
Oh, yeah?
Connie.
Sure, I went to East. I was an all-star.
Connie went to East, too, right?
The whole family went to East.
Yeah, she knows your sister, Connie, so
Yeah.
she wanted to know what year you went to East.
I graduated in 61.
Okay.
I was there from 58 to 61.
Yeah, I ran into her in the store, and she asked me about you, and I said, once again, they want you to come on the air, and I said, well, he's a little shy.
Yeah, well, they used to call me Dobie Gillis.
Toby Gillis.
Have a good one.
Okay. Oh, brother. That's good, always good to hear from John. Yeah, the hotel definitely a topic of amongst the public. And I don't want people to think that I'm negative and I don't want to see it happen, but when you have a private investor, you need to approach that aspect first. It's nice to take the 12 million, but we got to think long and hard about indebting our children and our grandchildren into further down the hole. And I was going to bring up, the garbage. Once again, that's been a topic. And as that one gentleman said, there were many suggestions. And they range from trying to limit the ability of a landlord to get a license or the ability to get an occupation certificate. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah. How you been, Lloyd?
Not bad, not bad.
Where you been?
Hiding.
Oh, I know. I ride by your house a lot.
Yeah, I work from home now.
Huh?
I work from home.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, the school board had a meeting today about that Bayfront hotel.
You mean about the taxes?
Yeah, they want their tax.
Oh, they want the tax from the hotel.
Yeah.
What were they talking about, Lloyd? Were they talking about the one that the convention center wants to build?
Yeah, the Invention
Not the one Nick Scott wants to build.
No, the Invention Authority.
So they want them to pay some kind of pilot agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that now.
Yeah, they had a meeting at 12 o'clock today.
That'll be interesting. I'm sure the press will cover that.
Oh, yeah, and that dog Kemper, I don't know what meeting she had with him today.
Well, it's a topic that, when you take, like if we lose, let's say, the the temple building.
Yeah, I heard that is sold.
Now, that's $60,000. Well, now, that's, if you take, there's 100-some thousand people near you, but if you take, let's say, the taxpayers only, or, let's say that's only $1 a person.
Yeah.
But, that $1 a person keeps adding up, you know it? And it just goes on, and that the only way we have to either take the city and we have to either get people to move back in, or we have to, bring business back in, or we have to start collecting some kind of fee from tax exempts for public safety or something. You can't keep going the way we're going,
No, I don't think half these places are tax exempt.
Well, no, they haven't been checked on. And, the state has to go back and look at their definition, like allowing parking lots and to be on there, that's wrong. And like when you deal with colleges, you can make a case that you want to keep the academic buildings tax exempt, much like you do the church, you know what I'm talking about, Lloyd?
Yes.
The actual church or the actual classrooms. But when you get into parking lots and you get into dormitories that make money, athletic facilities that make money, you know what? Maybe they're not fully taxable, but maybe they should be partially taxable.
We pay tax on our parking lots.
Where?
Holy Trinity.
I think, you know what, I was maybe I'm wrong, Lloyd. I was told they're tax exempt.
No, I don't think
Do they rent theirs out, or is it just for church?
That's for church. We don't rent it out anymore. We had too much trouble.
I'm going to check it out, but I thought the last time we talked to the treasurer, this is when Jimmy Thompson was on the show with me at that time.
Yeah.
We were surprised that church parking lots were included in tax exempt. So I'm not saying you're wrong, Lloyd. I don't know, but I'm going to ask Sue DeVecchio and see if I can get or call the county. But I was told that even like church parking lots are exempt.
Yeah, another thing too. The Civic Center Authority having a special board meeting tomorrow at 12.
What's theirs about?
I don't know.
Probably about the hotel.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they do a bad job. They do a great job running their buildings, but
What?
I agree with the mayor on this one. We have to start getting some tax money out of that bayfront.
I thought it's a waterfront property, and if you want to build something, they have to come to city council.
They probably do on the, once it passes, let's say, county, and it has to, probably with height restrictions and all, because that hotel will probably definitely go above what they call the waterfront,
Yeah, I heard there going to be 6 stories.
yeah, 6, that's all?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably will have to come before council then, because I forget what the height restriction is at the waterfront. I know there is one down there. And it's they had to get one for the Sheraton, for the tower, and for different other things,
But they hadn't paid that $35 million back yet.
And you know what, I think at the time council gave it to them, we didn't really expect we were going to get it back anytime soon, if ever.
I hate to say that Roger Richards ought to be out of there.
Well, if I have a problem with Roger sometimes, I was a little, when they had the opening of the arena, I don't think he gave enough credit to the city for the past contributions. Years ago, when the arena was losing money, who do you think financed that one?
The city did.
Yeah, if you go back, you'll see we gave them at the time, compared to today, $1 million didn't mean that. I mean, $1 million was a lot of money back then. And we were funding them for, $1 million or $2 million to bring up the shortfall.
Okay, here another one. WWE Wrestling will not come to Erie anymore.
Who won't?
WWE.
Why, what was the problem there?
They didn't have enough room.
Enough room?
I mean, seating.
They should now, right?
Yeah, but no, they ain't never come back.
Even with the new addition?
No, they left Johnstown, never got them back.
Well, I think, with WWE and these places, sometimes they outgrow the arena. For instance, this year, Trans-Siberian Orchestra came back to Erie.
Yeah.
But for a few years, they left. And although the prevailing talk was that they left because of the 3%, that's not true, because they came back this year and we got to 3%.
No, the reason why they didn't come back, it wasn't big enough then.
Oh, yeah, if you looked at their schedule, you could see that they were leaving little arenas and moving to, for instance, they could spend another day in Cleveland or Pittsburgh or Buffalo. Why would they want to, set up a show for one day in Erie?
Here with WWE Wrestling.
Yeah, isn't there another wrestling group coming in, though?
Yeah, TNA, but I don't know if they're coming back.
You don't think they're coming back either?
No.
I think somebody, I don't follow wrestling like I used to when my kids was young, but it seems like WWE went through some changes. They got big, and then they had some splinter groups come out, right?
Yeah, they have,
And so then they fought over who was going to play in what city and all that, and
yeah, they had Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and then they have NXT next.
I can't believe they won't come here, Lloyd. I'll tell you. You know, I watched a few shows when I used to work in the parking lots, you know, when I was younger.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't like it was a major, you know, they put the ring up and a few things. And most of the wrestlers, they drove from town to town on their own, you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you who, buddy.
So, I mean, that's why I can't believe they won't come back. Somebody won't come back, you know.
Yeah. A buddy of mine is Salvatore Bellomo.
Is who?
Salvatore Bellomo?
Yeah.
Italian wrestler?
Yeah.
He's a buddy of mine.
You know what? Next time I go to what do you call it, convention authority meeting,
Yeah.
I'll ask Casey about whether you know, if there's somebody's coming back with wrestling. Erie loves wrestling too much not to have it, you know.
I just went to a Saturday night show at Ipagrado Club on 30th and Washington.
Is that the local kids wrestling?
Yeah, John Chesney.
Maybe we should put you in tights, Lloyd. What? Huh?
I'm out of weight.
No, we'll call you the Polish pulverizer. What do you think?
Yeah. Remember Ivan Putski, huh?
Yeah, Ivan Putski. There you go.
Usually egg and onions. No, I used to travel with Salvatore Bellomo.
Well, there was some. I found wrestlers to be interesting people when I used to, you know, meet them when they're on their way to other cities.
Yeah, you remember Bill Cardell?
Yeah, he was an announcer in Erie, wasn't he?
Yeah. He used to have Chili Billy. Then he had All Pro Wrestling out of Pittsburgh with Dominic Nucci, Tony Parisi.
Oh, those are names. Dominic DiNucci. There you go.
Yeah.
Elio DiPaolo.
Yeah.
Billy Red Lyons. Hey, you know what's funny? I met in Erie. I met Sergeant Slaughter, the British Bulldogs, a couple others.
Yeah, you know the one.
They were interesting people. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, the British Bulldog is dead. One of them are.
That's a tough racket, though.
Yes. And they take enough drugs too, you know that.
Well, some of them do, you know.
Yeah. Hey, the garbage thing, I missed it on the. Is it on the internet yet?
You mean the names?
Yeah.
I don't think a decision was made to put them there.
You know what?
I am not against putting them out there. I think they should be.
Okay, if you do your taxes, you know, if you back on your taxes, they put it in the paper.
If anybody wants to see the list, I have it.
Yeah, let us see it sometime.
Oh, I'll be glad to let anybody see it that wants to. Actually, you can get it on. Do you have a computer, Lloyd?
Yeah.
I think it's WICU has it on their website.
I'm gonna go there today.
It's kind of hard to read. People told me because it's small.
No, I have a way how I bring stuff up big.
Okay, yeah, they try it on there. If you can't, give me a call at home,
Okay.
and I'll try. I'll bring it out to your house sometime.
Yeah.
It's an interesting list. It's very
know.
very embarrassing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on, but somebody else call.
Okay, thanks for calling. And
Yeah, I won't be a stranger anymore. I work from home now.
oh, okay, maybe we'll get the parking lot and we'll put you in tights and have a little wrestling match.
Yeah, we could do it.
There you go. We'll get some of your friends to come over there.
Yeah, well.
Make some money for the church, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
See you, Lloyd.
All right, bye.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes?
Yes, you're on the air.
What?
Hey, go ahead.
I think we've lost control down here
Where?
in council chambers. You know, it started with the buses and how that was done in secret.
You mean the bus?
The bus route on Peach Street.
Oh, yeah, if that comes up again, I'm telling the public, I would want to move it. I've told people I want it back on State Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was a rotten suggestion.
It was, Cass. I mean, it was poorly done, and
Well, it's done for the wrong reasons, let's say.
I don't think we ever got a straight answer about it, really.
No, I think I know what it is, but...
Yeah, and then we go to Cat TV, another service to the citizens of Erie.
Well, Mr. what's his name, Bob Lechner?
Yeah.
He's resigned, that's
Well, and
not a good sign, you know.
Well, they can't exist if they don't have a little bit of money. And those people down at council did that. And then we have to use fees to balance the entire budget for sewer and trash. I think that should just be a an item on your tax bill.
Well, I used to say all along when even when I was on the school board,
Yeah.
I think if you tell the public and you're honest with them,
Yeah.
they're going to get mad at you a little bit. Believe me, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get a few phone calls and that, but not as many as you think. Because the average person realizes, I mean, any one of them do, they shop, they buy gas, they know that things are never the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And no matter how you think about people aren't going to get raises, that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
We have to deal with the process that's in place, and it's a good system, and you know what, if you're honest with the people and you tell them, hey, you know what, we got to raise your taxes
Oh, yeah.
$5-10, they're going to yell. Honest to God, they are. But you know what, at the end of the day, they realize there's not much you can do,
And I agree with you about all those things, guys. But my fourth point was the Citizens to be Heard, sponsored by Mr. Witherspoon.
Right, now, there was 3 votes against it.
I do. And I think the one was a phony vote, not yours or not Jessica's. So the people that watched will know who I think was the phony vote, because it didn't make any difference. But those 3 people that ran for office, they would have been running for office saying that we don't like citizens to be heard to hear the citizens. Maybe they wouldn't have got quite so many votes, and then maybe Mr. Witherspoon's buddy, Mr. Evans, could have got in there. Who knows?
Yeah, see, what I feel about citizens to be heard, we had one at the school district too.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, realistically, and I mean, you may disagree with me on this, I think everybody has a right to talk,
I do too.
but they need to stay on task.
Well, yeah.
We're not here to listen to county problems,
Yeah.
And I think they have to be reminded that, that this is not the forum, this is about city business. And I don't care if it's on the agenda or not. If it's city business, Jessica and I were talking about this, you take the other day when we had the meeting, it was terrible snow.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you want some elderly person to wait here,
Yeah.
while the snow's piling up? First of all, they don't know when the end of the meeting is.
Right.
Not even the councilman knows.
Oh, yeah.
We can't predict when so you got to hang around here or time it, and then, how do you know what's on the agenda? A lot of people, my mother don't have a computer.
Yeah.
It's not in the paper,
And Cass, what relevance does it have when those few people that want to talk? I mean,
if you're worried about the couple that got out of hand once in a while,
oh, yeah.
then just tell them to sit down and, that it's not city business, I mean, we're here about city business. It doesn't matter what it is,
But one thing about the person who talks about some county issues, those county issues, every piece of property that the convention center owns is in the boundaries of the city.
Well, that's relevant. Like I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When he talked about the recycling plant and all that, and
intermodal out in Walbridge Road, but
yeah, if it concerns the city indirectly, yes, that's okay. Where I get mad is when if they start talking about issues that concern strictly the county that we have no control over.
But and Kaz, I had to go. I had to step out for a minute. But you're going to have a lot more to do. Waterfront development is a lot more strictly controlled than any other kind of zoning district in the city. And you're going to get your fill of it. They might get the financing from county council.
Right.
they're going to get the go-ahead to do what they want to do down there from you people.
Well, I need to meet with you, I'm going to give you a call.
Yeah, because...
And we need to get together so you can fill me in on some of the nuances of it.
Yeah,
I need to be brought up to speed pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a different process. But a couple things, I don't know if, the meeting, county council meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Where is it? Down the courthouse, right?
Courthouse, yeah, in council chambers. Nice digs down there.
Right.
And then the school district, I heard today, was sending a letter to Roger Richards and the boys about they can't get behind this project unless it generates some kind of tax revenue.
Well, see, I think we all agree on that, you know what, we can't keep having these, how fair is it to Nick Scott? If he builds a hotel, he's got to pay tax,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Nick Scott starts out in a $3 million hole compared to just for the hotel motel tax and property tax.
Now, people are going to get, a lot of people are getting confused when,
Yeah, I know.
he's
that's the sad part of it is that they're not well enough informed to really understand the little nuances of what's going on.
well, like if he gets a $12 million grant, that's not a loan, that's not
And that's after the fact. That's after.
he has to put up his own money.
Yeah, that's after the fact.
Yeah, he has to build it, it has to meet our specifications.
Yeah.
Then he gets $12 million, which is a grant
Yeah.
that we, it's a pass-through grant that we get from the Commonwealth,
Yeah.
but it's not a bond issue like, you wonder why businessmen get shook up.
Oh yeah.
I actually had some people, you're going to laugh at this, they think he makes too much money or, they'd rather see the convention center built because he makes too much money.
Yeah, and
I know, I'm going, this is not about what you feel about Nick Scott.
No,
It's
no.
about what you feel about the system in America, which says that,
It's free enterprise, and you can look at Nick Scott and think he's making too much money, but he did it with hard work. I mean, and he invested his own money and took some chances.
and, the people that say that are the same ones that don't question a large Youngstown corporation which owns them all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See, and I don't feel that way at all.
We love sending our money out of town, but when a local businessman,
Yeah.
do I think he makes too much money? I don't know. He takes the risk, The only thing I think he should do, and he will in this project, is, he's going to have to deal with federal government regulation, state regulations,
Oh yeah.
So, it's going to be a win-win for everybody, I think.
And if they keep fooling around the way they're fooling around, I'll be dead before they dig a footer down there.
That's true,
I'd like to see it come to bear fruit and be a nice change for our waterfront. And
well, you've seen some of the designs they wanted to. They wanted to change the approach to the Bayfront Highway down there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They wanted to make it more friendlier rather than like a racetrack. Those things are all nice, and the catalyst for that is a lot of it's going to be private investment.
Yeah.
It can't all be government stuff down there because you know what?
Yeah.
Years ago we had private business down there. We got people like smugglers we've had down there.
The Bowie restaurant.
Right? They all.
After they spent $1 million fixing it up so they could put a parking lot there. That kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me. But we'll see.
A lot of people like to read plaques with their name on it. That's a problem.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care about one. You know what? If I leave the earth tomorrow night and my name ain't on one plaque, ain't gonna matter to me one bit.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna remember it 50 years from now anyway.
They do have to start working together. And I think more than the Scott development complementing the Convention Center Authority, I think the Convention Center Authority should be doing everything they can to complement the Scott development, and then that'll work down there.
Well, between that and the GF property, we could have two beautiful gems down there.
Oh yeah, you could. It'd be beautiful.
That's why I agree with the mayor. The GF property has to have some taxable properties on it. It has to be private investment a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Because you know what? At the end.
Gotta pay.
But you know what? I tantamount this to Panmunjom during the Korean War. I don't know if they're going to probably argue about what side of the table to sit at.
Yeah, Oh yeah. You're probably right, Gus. I can't imagine getting all their big egos in one room with Kathy Dahlkamper, and talk about anything.
And if you remember, the hotel that Nick wanted to build was a Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah.
The first
It
one,
wasn't
remember?
good enough, and
But they wanted a Marriott, he wanted a Courtyard, and there was other things, and
yeah. But Gus, keep up everything you're doing.
I want to meet with you, Doug. I want you to fill me in, okay?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, and I'll be happy to.
Because I need to be brought up to speed on, it's one thing to be a councilman, but you can't understand all the zoning laws.
Oh no. They get pretty complicated.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I want to be fair about it, so.
Yeah, and I'll help however I can, Cass.
Yeah, I'll give you a call. We'll get together some morning.
All right, very good, Cass.
My treat, how's that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yep, definitely, I think the meeting's open tomorrow, and if you get a chance, and you got some free time, and you really have a problem with the hotel, or whether you're for it or against it, 7 o'clock tomorrow at the courthouse in County Council Chambers, I would advise you to be there if you get, this may be your only chance. Will it make a difference? Who knows? I personally have never gone into a meeting where I couldn't be swayed. I might have had my mind sort of made up, but I think when you're in government, you need to have your mind open. So I would hope that, if the public has some concerns, tomorrow at 7 might be the time to do them. And don't be afraid to go down there. Don't be afraid to talk into the mic. This is your country, your county. You got to take it back. So I think we're going to be going off here shortly. I want to thank all the callers. And just want to remind that one gentleman, I'm going to go by there and check, but 19th Street, I do believe, is going to be cleaned up shortly, if it hasn't already been. It was a mess, and believe it or not, people that were watching the show upstairs, they took care of the problem. I want to thank code enforcement. So I think they contacted the owner, and if nothing's happened, that gentleman can give me a call back. So we'll see you again here next week. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.